Hello everyone, it's me again, Steedoj here. What does Dragon Ball Super's return, because if you didn't know, that's coming back. It's coming back in July 19th. Aside from the fact that Dragon Ball Super's returning, what does that actually mean for Xenoverse? Because in case if you guys didn't notice, there's always been this weird correlation with new Dragon Ball and Xenoverse. Some people are going to say, oh no, Battle of Z was supposed to celebrate Battle of Gods. Battle of Z was supposed to celebrate Battle of Gods coming out, but not to celebrate its success in general. So, in fact, we're not even supposed to talk about Battle of Z, so let's not. But that aside, again, Xenoverse 2 was to celebrate the fact that Dragon Ball Super had finally broken into its own stories, rather than just copying Z stories. They weren't really proud of the Universe 6 tournament, and I don't blame them, because I wasn't proud of it either. The Goku Black arc is truly where Dragon Ball Super starts, and honestly, they're kind of right with that. Xenoverse 2 was to kind of celebrate the fact that they did have their own arc, and Dragon Ball Super was halfway through its course, and it was doing super well. So like, hey, let's give them a Xenoverse 2. Well, at the time of them announcing Xenoverse 2, I think they just finished the Universe 6 arc, to be fair. And it wouldn't surprise me if Dragon Ball Super coming back also meant, again, that the most popular Dragon Ball game of all time comes back, but not as a DLC this time, no. As its own separate game. And the reason why I think Xenoverse 3 can happen now, due to the fact that there's a new Dragon Ball Super, is 1. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, if it did come out, would have had absolutely nothing to work with, without a story to run alongside it. Xenoverse 1 celebrated Battle of Gods, and again, it does have a reason to exist, because the Xenoverse series had not covered the Dragon Ball story by that point. So going over the Frieza saga, the Cell saga, and the Buu saga again wouldn't have been boring, especially because they have the whole time thing of, oh look, it's different now, because this time Super Saiyan Goku isn't actually strong enough to beat Frieza. Kid Buu is even stronger, so he can push back the Spirit of him twice, unless if a certain other custom character super strong can also help him. Wink wink. So again, Xenoverse 1 having a story to work with makes sense, that's fine. Xenoverse 2 could at least add Dragon Ball Super stuff into it. Now, to be fair, I do think the Goku Black Saga should have been in the base game. I don't think that should have been DLC. I mean, at least the story, if not the characters, then at least the story. Because Xenoverse 2 story is just Xenoverse 1 story. Benefit of the doubt, it is different. They did add a lot of characters I want in the original Xenoverse, such as Cooler, Turles, Lord Slug, Broly was in the extra story. Broly was in the extra story for Xenoverse 1. But Janemba wasn't. So they did a ton of characters that could mix things up. And I did actually like a lot of Xenoverse 2's story. So again, yeah, Xenoverse 2 did have a lot of cool stuff going on with its story, which is why it was accepted. But again, the only new thing that they actually really added was the revival of F Saga and a better version of the Battle of God Saga, in my opinion. And then after that is Revival of F. I think the Revival of F story for Xenoverse 2 was actually pretty good. I did like the models. Don't get me wrong, Xenoverse 2's models aren't the greatest. But in the Revival of F story, I think it's just the lighting and the stage. Everything naturally looks good on that map when they're showing off everything. It's new, it's nice, it's good, it's fun. It's delicioso. Xenoverse 1 did not have a Revival of F story, so it makes sense to actually put it in Xenoverse 2 and do good with it, so I like that. And then of course you have the final boss stories and stuff like that. We don't care. But the main time people started asking for it was around the time of DLC 6 coming out, which is the Ultra Instinct Goku and Jiren DLC. Now, the problem with adding Xenoverse 3 just for the Tournament of Power story is not only is that stupid, because that means it would only get one extra story that isn't even that good. Like, the Tournament of Power is a shit arc. Did you guys not watch it? Not only is the Tournament of Power not too engaging, they would have to add a ton of characters just to make that story actually work. Even then, they'd have to really pad it out. They'd have to add in a bunch of useless stuff like Goku going back to meet Frieza, and then Frieza comes out and beats up all the people, and then maybe there's a version where, oh, you have to help Goku fight Frieza on a one-on-one when they're training before the tournament starts. Or maybe, oh no, the team's gonna be late for the tournament unless if you do this and that. It wouldn't have been good. Like, yes, the Tournament of Power basically covers half of Dragon Ball Super, but adding that as a standalone story, as the only new story in Xenoverse 2, in Xenoverse 3. But now we're gonna move on to the fact that Xenoverse 2 is a dead game, quote unquote, but a lot of people still play Xenoverse 2. I'm gonna edit it out, don't worry. Don't worry, future Steed, can you help me with this? Again, I don't know the number of the people that actually play Xenoverse 2. I can get an estimate on Steam maybe, but that doesn't actually correlate to the other platforms, especially PS4, where it's at its most popular, and Xbox, where it runs the best. So it's fair to say that the PC version of the Steam page isn't actually a good number, how many people are really playing the game. And even if it's higher, then that's pretty bad for people that says Xenoverse 2 is a dead game. It's far from a dead game, and I think the good reason why we can tell it's not a dead game is because there's new people picking up every day. A dead game doesn't get a random update 3 years after it's come out saying, we're going to make part of the game free. and we're gonna make a new server. Like, that's not a dead game, I'm sorry. That really isn't a dead game. Another reason I don't think Xenoverse 2 is a dead game is due to the fact that people are still asking for new characters and new stuff in the game. Like, don't get me wrong, people still ask for new stuff everywhere. I still want a remake of Lost Planet 2 with HD graphics. It'll probably be worse though, so maybe we shouldn't get one actually. People still want new characters in Xenoverse 2, which is not a bad thing. I mean, the more characters we have, maybe we'll get a better Tournament of Power story. Who knows? I mean, again, there's not that many people who are relevant in the Tournament of Power. Maybe you can make like 15 characters who are unique to that saga. And I struggle to even come up with 15. Another reason I think Xenoverse 2 is far from a dead game is due to the fact that, again, maybe we're just not a good representation of it. But I do think that the YouTube community behind Xenoverse, or at least the Dragon Ball community in general, that does have its eye on Xenoverse. It doesn't matter if they've, you know, if they're still playing the game and uploading daily on it, or if they've actually abandoned the game altogether. Not abandoned it, but just deleted it. Then it's still fine. You can still see that Xenoverse has a lot of support, at least from the YouTube side. Not trying to pull all of our tail feathers collectively. But again, just in my comment section, I can see people saying, hey, I picked up Xenoverse 2 because of your videos and this, and that. And people do say that they have problems with the game. Obviously, there's problems with every game. But they still thoroughly enjoy the game. And that's just my comments. You have to think about the other people's comments too. You have to think about Burkle, Syrax's rhyme styles. There's a lot of people that are still interested in Xenoverse 2. Even me. I heard Xenoverse 1 wasn't really that great. And I got the game, like, maybe 4 months before Xenoverse 2 was announced. That's pretty late to get Xenoverse 1, and I still got it. Because I was just like, hey, this looks like an interesting game. All the videos I watched online in the game look fun. I'm gonna get this game. So, again, it's far from dead because it does have too many aesthetics that pull people in. It's really hard to call a good game dead. I called Xenoverse 2 a good game, just wait a bit. It's really hard to call a game that has good aspects that are... Some of them are executed really well, a dead game. There you go. Because Xenoverse 2's biggest problem, in my opinion, is what the netcode does to the game in general. And probably, after that, the RNG, definitely. Onto the new Conton City and Dragon Ball Light. Now, I will just say my opinion on the new Conton City. Because what it does is pretty average. It's basically a server reset. No, it's really just a new server and the old server. The old server will still have information, but the new server will not. The new server will remove everyone on your favorites list, remove people on certain like players met list, and I think it's going to reset tournament leaderboards too. I'll have everything on screen for you guys, just as a reminder. But the new servers will basically be a fresh new start, and Dragon Ball Light will also launch along with those new servers. Now, the thing I want to know is, will Dragon Ball Light be on the old servers or the new servers? Because it's kind of a demo version of Xenoverse 2. Like, I know everyone has said it's Xenoverse 2 but free. They have stated that a lot of the story isn't in it, only the beginning story, quote-unquote. So I don't know how many parallel quests you can actually do either. How many characters can you use as well? Can you buy the DLCs if you have Dragon Ball Light without getting the full game? I don't know. And that's why I want to know with Xenoverse Light. Will it have any of the features from... Well, obviously it's going to have features from the full game. But will Dragon Ball Light be on the old servers or the new servers? If it's on the old servers, then that's kind of screwing over the people that get it. So it'll probably be on the new servers. But if it's on the new servers, and then all of the old players who still play the game are going to move over to the new servers, on the new servers just going to be as bad as the old servers? It's... what I want to know. I mean, people who get the demo version and play Dragon Ball Light, and if they're stuck with the old servers, I don't think they would care. Because, to be fair, they've never really experienced the game before. So they would just think, oh, this is all new to me. Like, it's like when I first played Xenoverse 1 and I was wondering, huh, how come this guy's invincible just by jumping in the air constantly? But what I mean is, again, if they put the Dragon Ball Light players on the old server, while that would be technically screwing them over if they do know about the connection issues, it would be better for the general player base, because then they'd have to actually get the game to go on the new servers. Because I don't want to play on servers that suck. All right. Photo mode. Photo mode will also be launching with this, but my problem with photo mode is the only problem I have with photo mode so far is I would like a replay feature with photo mode. Now I know that might be hard to ask, especially from Xenoverse, but what if there's an especially good shot or an especially good frame in one of my online battles, and I'm like, I want to see that from a different angle, and maybe take a picture of it so I can use it as the thumbnail in photo mode. I can't really get that angle, can I? Because there's no replay function. I mean, maybe there will be, and they just haven't told us yet. But in photo mode so far, the only thing you can really do is mess around with the imaging of the character you're using and your own custom characters, because you can't get other people's custom characters, right? So it would have to be your custom characters, as well as the original characters. Now for me, this isn't really a problem, because I play like every original character in the game already, so I can just make whichever thumbnails I want. But I would also like to feature the other person's custom character in a thumbnail too. Depending on how goofy the custom character looks, that would actually look sick. And even then, it doesn't have to be a goofy one. It could be a good-looking one. It could be a try-hard. It could be any of the ones that, you know, generally have an image of them that people would say, oh, that looks like an interesting thing going on in that picture. I would like to check it out. YouTube thumbnails aside, photo mode is generally good for the community. It makes the community more active for one. Because I know a lot of people, at least on the Xbox Dragon Ball communities, shout out to you, you know who you are because you're posting cool screenshots. But that aside, they already make some pretty good stuff with just the Xbox function to take a screenshot at the right time. No editing, no increased saturation, no brightness, no anything. They do a pretty good job with just the Xbox screenshot. If Xbox can do that, then photo mode would generally liven up the community. Because when people are checking out the friends list or checking out a community tab or something like that, they'll say, well, that's a cool picture. I want to take a cool picture. And then they inspire other people to take cool pictures. And then people would be like, oh, maybe I should get Xenoverse too, because that's a pretty cool looking picture of a custom character. Maybe I can make my custom character look that cool. So, aside from photo mode just being good for people who already exist in the fan base and for YouTubers, it's generally another way to bring in new people. It's the same way you see like an image done in like Smash or Halo 3. You guys remember Halo 3? That had its own like photo mode-esque thing. That was pretty cool and that inspired a lot of people to get the game. So I think that's actually a good move for Xenoverse to add something like that in. Another thing about Xenoverse Lite and the new servers, it could just be a test because to be fair, Xenoverse 2 did happen without any kind of testing on Xenoverse 1. They were like, oh, here are some issues with Xenoverse 1 that are annoying. Kamehameha cancelling, jumping in the air, and a few other things. And they basically destroyed those things. But they also created other problems. Now, it's a subjective thing, okay? It's completely subjective, but I'm just saying, you couldn't dash after a key blast in Xenoverse 1, and that might have been the trade-off for jumping in the air. In Xenoverse 1, you had jumping in the air, which actually made you invincible, because if you try jumping right now in Xenoverse 2, from the ground, like, only on races that somersault. It seems to only happen on characters who somersault for some reason. They have a lot of invincibility, if not all the invincibility, so long as they're jumping. Characters who somersault when they jump would be completely invincible, and you could do that in the air in Xenoverse 1, so basically you could just be invincible for the whole match. But key cancelling wasn't a thing there, so that was basically the game's replacement of key cancelling. It's like, oh, do I want to get out of a combo? Just jump in the air and be invincible. That was their equivalent of key cancelling back in Xenoverse 1. But now in Xenoverse 2 we have key cancelling. You could debate which one's more annoying, but they both make you invincible. The other difference is that key cancelling is also key stunning, and that shit is just like, what? You're just gonna stun me for free? Just cause I was existing around you? Oh, my bad, sorry. Whether you think key cancelling should transfer over to Xenoverse 3 or not, it's not really an issue. I would just prefer if the netcode worked, because then key cancelling wouldn't even be a problem, because you wouldn't be invincible when you dashed. So, again, I'm hoping that, you know, the new Content City kind of runs as a demo for them to test out how they plan to do service in their future games, or especially Xenoverse 3. I would say right now, in Xenoverse 2, right, hear me out, this isn't a problem for Xbox, it's a problem for PC, I think, but for PS4, you guys already know what I'm talking about, just based on the way I introduced it. Modders destroying you online, there's just nothing you can do about it. And the biggest problem is they have not addressed it with the new servers, so they're coming with you guys to the new Content City, and that's not a very good thing. Now, I do want to say, Hirano has already stated that it's an unavoidable issue, quote-unquote. You just can't deal with this, you know? That we don't have I mean, to be fair, Xenoverse 2 never had a ban or a kick system and program, and implementing one now would probably take too much of their time or resources, or just not a priority in light of other things. So it makes sense, but at the same time, Dimps really does, not Dimps, but Hirano himself, I do feel like he wants Xenoverse to improve as a general thing. As weird as it sounds, he doesn't seem proud of Xenoverse despite how much money it's made, and obviously it's a company thing. We have to imagine how many emails they get from not just us, but like Japanese fans too, and a bunch of other people who play the game, just like, hey, these people hate the game, can you like do something about it? And he's like, yeah, let me just fix this other issue first, and they're like, fix the game! But a lot of people are used to the general lag in Xenoverse, and photo mode we honestly gave up on, so it's not like we wanted, it's not like we expected that. So if they didn't give it to us, we'd just be like, whatever, they always do this. So again, I do think Dimps is actually trying the hardest, and I do really appreciate the fact that we did actually even get an update to begin with. That's pretty Subarashi na. And I think that about wraps it up for what I want in Xenoverse 3 and what I think will be in Xenoverse 3. Now, these are all speculation and guesses. You can throw your own 2 cents in the comment section down below. I would like to see them, because this is a discussion thing. It's not just listen to my opinion and don't even have anything to say, just listen to it. Just listen to it and obey it. I do want to hear other people's side to this. because I feel like if we all come to a general thing, we might say, hey, this is probably the most likely thing that happened in Xenoverse 3 because we all think this is going to happen, so most likely is going to happen. I mean, that's how human beings work. We're pseudo hive minds, alright? We have enough intelligence to guess what can happen based on previous events and current events. So I would like to see what you guys think in the comments down below. I would also appreciate if you liked the video, if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want more content like this. I do want to do more talking-esque videos because not only are they generally pleasant to do, it just lets me get some stuff off my mind and speak to you guys a little bit, and that's pretty cool. And without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, also, I want bigger breasts.